Welcome to Newsmakers. Today we're going to talk about the foster care system in Kansas. We are at the Truman Presidential Library in Independence, Missouri with Kansas State Senator Steve Fitzgerald. Thanks for being here.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I always appreciate it.
There are right now a large number of kids in foster care in Kansas. What do you think our state needs to do about this year?
Well, there's a problem. We were talking just earlier, a few minutes ago, about how many there are in there, and it seems to be a very large number and growing, which I think is reflective of the breakdown of our society, our culture, and particularly our families, and that's very difficult. But I want to tell you that a lot of legislators, including myself, are getting a lot of complaints about the way we're handling the foster care situation in Kansas. I think it's probably reflective of what's going on around the country. We have a law in Kansas that's supposed to give priority to grandparents. In fact, many of the judges, or at least some of the judges, are not respecting that, and they're saying, well, this is the family that they came out of, and we're not sure we want to put the kids back in there, and they're going into foster care. I'm hearing from parents, especially when we're having a divorce situation, and I could hear from both sides about what's going on with the DCF handling the situation there. We've had kids die in foster care recently. Cases of neglect and abuse can't be ignored anymore. There was an interim committee this last summer, heard an enormous amount of testimony, an overwhelming amount of testimony, and this requires that we act. We're going to have to act shortly on this, and I think we're going to do a few things. One of the things that's going to have to be done is we're going to establish an oversight committee to look in detail as to what's going on in the DCF, and to keep that oversight committee in session year-round to keep an eye on this and get this going. The other thing that's being considered among the legislators is to stop the outsourcing to contractors and possibly bring this back in-house and make sure that everything is done by the DCF. I'm a big privatization person. I like things going to the private sector, but when it's not working, we have to step in and fix it.
There was some talk last year about doing an independent audit of the system,
right.
And that was kind of turned down at the time.
Right.
Where do you stand on that? Do you think there needs to be some kind of an audit done?
There must be an audit done, and it must be done as soon as possible. And I'm looking at the legislative post-audit. We have our own internal and very, very reputable audit capability. If the will of the body is to have an independent audit of it, I'm not against that either. But we're going to have to get in, get the detail, establish the committee, the oversight committee, to oversee this in detail. Make sure they're properly informed and that they have the power to get in and get some of this stuff straightened up. This cannot be tolerated. This must be fixed.
Where do you think most of the problems are stemming from? What do you think is one of the big issues?
Well, there's several issues, but as I said to begin with, it's the breakdown of the culture and the society and the families. The kids are getting the brunt of that, obviously. And we're not paying the social workers enough. They're turning over very rapidly. We have the system, the way it's set up, is duplicative in that we have people in the DCF that are overseeing it directly, and then we have contractors who are doing the work as well, and we have turnover at both levels. So when you get to the individual case, they're constantly changing characters involved in it. And we have a problem with the judges who are just ignoring some of the laws that we put in order to be able to improve that, and that's going to be a tough one.
Sounds like a big issue to tackle this year.
And I think it's one we can't avoid.
All right, thanks so much for being here.
My pleasure.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Newsmakers.